Right now, thousands of retirees across America are missing out on extra money they're legally entitled to receive every single month. We're talking about an additional $800 that could be landing in your bank account alongside your regular Social Security payment. This isn't some scam or clickbait promise. This is a legitimate benefit that Social Security Administration insiders have confirmed. But here's the catch. You have to take action and submit the right paperwork to claim it. The Social Security system has multiple programs and benefit adjustments that most people simply don't know about. While you've been receiving your standard monthly check, there's a good chance you qualify for supplemental benefits that require a specific form to be filed. The problem? The SSA doesn't automatically enroll you, and they're not going to call you up to let you know you're missing out. It's your responsibility to understand what's available and to submit the necessary documentation. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what this form is, who qualifies for this additional $800, and the step-by-step process to submit your application correctly the first time. Let me be completely straight with you about what's really going on here. When most people think about Social Security, they picture that one monthly check they've been counting on for retirement. They worked their entire lives, paid into the system, and now they're collecting what they earned. But what the majority of beneficiaries don't realize is that Social Security isn't just one simple program with one simple payment. It's actually a complex web of different benefits, adjustments, and supplemental programs that can dramatically increase what you're receiving each month. The problem is that navigating this system feels like trying to read a map written in a foreign language, and the Social Security Administration doesn't exactly go out of their way to make sure you're getting every penny you deserve. The reality is that there are specific circumstances and life situations that qualify you for additional monthly payments on top of your standard retirement benefit. These aren't bonuses or gifts from the government. These are benefits you've earned through your work history, your family situation, or your current financial circumstances. But here's what makes this so frustrating for millions of seniors across the country. The SSA operates on what you might call a you have to ask for it system. They're not going to review your file every year and say, hey, this person might qualify for extra money. Let's reach out to them. Instead, the burden falls entirely on you to understand what benefits exist, figure out if you qualify, and then submit the correct paperwork to claim them. Now, when we talk about adding $800 to your monthly Social Security check, we're primarily looking at something called Supplemental Security Income, which is commonly known as SSI. This is a federal program that provides monthly payments to people who have limited income and resources, and it's specifically designed to help cover basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter. Here's the thing that catches a lot of people off guard. You can actually receive both your regular Social Security retirement benefits and SSI at the same time if you meet the eligibility requirements. Most folks assume that if they're already getting Social Security, they can't qualify for anything else. But that's simply not true. The two programs serve different purposes and have different eligibility criteria, which means you could be leaving hundreds of dollars on the table every single month just because you didn't know you could apply for both. Let's talk about who actually qualifies for this additional money, because this is where things get interesting. To be eligible for SSI, you need to meet certain income and resource limits that the Social Security Administration has established. For 2024, if you're an individual, your countable income needs to be below a specific threshold, and your countable resources, which includes things like bank accounts and property, need to be valued at less than $2,000. If you're married and both you and your spouse are applying, that resource limit goes up to $3,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably wondering what counts as income and what counts as resources. And this is where it gets a bit tricky because not everything you own or receive counts toward these limits. When the SSA calculates your countable income, they're looking at money coming in from various sources, but they don't count everything dollar for dollar. There are exclusions and deductions that can significantly reduce what they consider as countable income. For example, the first $20 of most income you receive in a month doesn't count. If you're still working, the first $65 of your earnings doesn't count, and then only half of your earnings over $65 counts toward the limit. They also don't count certain types of assistance like SNAP benefits, which used to be called food stamps, or most home energy assistance. The same concept applies to resources. Your primary home doesn't count no matter what it's worth. One vehicle doesn't count if you use it for transportation. Personal belongings and household goods generally don't count. Life insurance policies with a combined face value of $1,500 or less per person don't count. Burial plots and up to $1,500 in burial funds for you, and an additional $1,500 for your spouse don't count either. This is crucial information because many people assume they won't qualify simply because they own their home or have a car, but those assets are specifically excluded from the calculation. What the SSA is really looking at is your liquid assets, the money you have available in checking accounts, savings accounts, stocks, bonds, and similar financial instruments. If those combined assets are under the $2,000 limit for an individual or $3,000 for a couple, you could very well qualify for SSI payments on top of your regular Social Security benefits. Here's another aspect that surprises a lot of people. The amount of SSI you receive isn't a flat rate for everyone. It's calculated based on your individual circumstances, specifically looking at how much countable income you have coming in each month. The federal benefit rate, which is the maximum amount someone can receive, changes each year based on cost of living adjustments. For 2024, the maximum federal SSI payment for an individual is $943 per month, and for a couple, it's $1,415. However, many states also add their own supplemental payment on top of the federal amount, which can increase your total monthly benefit even more. States like California, New York, and several others provide additional money to SSI recipients. So depending on where you live, your total payment could be significantly higher than just the federal amount. Now let's get down to the practical part of this, which is actually claiming this benefit. The form we're talking about is the SSI application, which is technically called the SSA 8000 BK. This is the official application for Supplemental Security Income, and it's the document you need to complete and submit to start the process of potentially adding that extra money to your monthly income. You can't just call up the Social Security Administration and verbally request SSI. You have to go through a formal application process, and that process involves providing detailed information about your income, your resources, your living situation, and various other aspects of your financial life. The application itself is pretty comprehensive, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It asks for a lot of information. You'll need to provide details about any wages you're earning if you're still working part-time. You'll need to report any other Social Security benefits you're receiving, including your retirement benefits. You'll need to list any pensions, annuities, or other regular income sources. You'll need to provide information about your bank accounts, including checking, savings, and any certificates of deposit. You'll need to report any stocks, bonds, or other investments you own. You'll need to provide information about any real estate you own other than your primary residence. You'll need to explain your living arrangements, including whether you own your home, rent, or live with someone else, and whether you pay for food and shelter, or someone else provides these for you. This last part about living arrangements is actually really important because it can affect how much SSI you receive. If you're living in someone else's household and they're providing you with free food and shelter, the SSA considers this as in-kind income, and it can reduce your SSI payment by up to 1/3 of the federal benefit rate. On the other hand, if you're paying your fair share of household expenses, even if you're living with family, this wouldn't negatively impact your payment amount. The SSA wants to understand your complete financial picture because SSI is a needs-based program, meaning it's designed to bring you up to a certain income level if you're falling below it. One thing that trips people up is the timing of when to apply. Unlike Social Security retirement benefits, where you might strategize about the best age to claim them to maximize your lifetime benefits, SSI doesn't work that way. With SSI, you should apply as soon as you think you might qualify because the benefits can only start from the month after you apply. They don't pay retroactive benefits for SSI like they sometimes do with other Social Security programs. Every month you wait to apply is potentially a month of benefits you're losing out on permanently. If you qualified 6 months ago, but you're just now applying, you're not getting those 6 months of back payments. You're only getting benefits starting from next month forward. The application process can be done in a few different ways, and which method you choose might depend on your comfort level with technology and your personal preferences. You can apply online through the Social Security Administration's website, which many people find convenient because you can work on it at your own pace, save your progress, and complete it from the comfort of your home. You can also apply by calling Social Security at their national toll-free number and scheduling a telephone appointment where a representative will help you complete the application over the phone. Or you can visit your local Social Security office in person and complete the application with a representative sitting right there with you. Each method has its advantages, but the in-person option can be particularly helpful if you have questions or find paperwork confusing because you'll have someone right there who can explain things and make sure you're providing all the necessary information. When you submit your application, you're also going to need to provide documentation to verify the information you're reporting. This isn't because the SSA doesn't trust you, it's simply because they need to confirm the facts before they can approve you for benefits and start sending you money. You'll typically need to provide proof of age, which could be a birth certificate or other official document showing when you were born. You'll need to provide proof of citizenship or legal residency status in the United States. You'll need to provide information about your living arrangements, possibly including a lease agreement if you rent or a statement about your living situation if you live with others. You'll need to provide bank statements showing the balances in your accounts. You'll need to provide documentation of any other income you're receiving, which might include benefit statements from Social Security, pension statements, or pay stubs if you're working. Gathering all this documentation might feel overwhelming, but take it one step at a time. The Social Security Administration will tell you exactly what they need, and if you don't have something readily available, they'll usually work with you to find alternative ways to verify the information. The key is to not let the paperwork intimidate you into giving up on applying, because that's exactly what prevents thousands of eligible seniors from claiming benefits they have every right to receive. Once you submit your application along with all the supporting documents, the SSA will review everything and make a determination about your eligibility. This review process typically takes a few weeks to a couple of months, depending on how busy your local office is and whether they need any additional information from you. During this time, it's important to respond promptly if they contact you asking for more documentation or clarification about something. Delays in responding can slow down the process and delay when your benefits might start. If you're approved for SSI, your first payment will typically arrive the month after your application is approved, and then you'll continue receiving monthly payments as long as you remain eligible. But here's something important to understand about SSI that's different from regular Social Security. Because it's a needs-based program, your eligibility and payment amount can change if your financial situation changes. If you suddenly inherit money or your income increases, you need to report this to the Social Security Administration because it could affect your SSI benefits. The program requires you to report any changes in your income, resources, or living situation within 10 days after the end of the month in which the change occurred. This ongoing reporting requirement is part of the deal with SSI, and failing to report changes can result in overpayments that you'll eventually have to pay back. The potential to add $800 or more to your monthly income through SSI can make a real difference in your quality of life during retirement. We're talking about money that can help cover increasing healthcare costs, prescription medications, utilities, groceries, and all those other expenses that seem to keep climbing every year. For someone living primarily on Social Security retirement benefits, which for many people might only be $1,200 to $1,800 per month, adding another $800 through SSI could nearly double your monthly income. That's not just a little extra pocket change. That's the difference between scraping by and being able to live with some dignity and comfort.